Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. Okay, now at the end of May it was my birthday and my husband said, what would you like for your birthday? So I said, oh, how about you leave that to me and I'll do a bit of exploring and I'll see what I can come up with. So after having a bit of a think, I decided fabric. Can always do with some more fabric. So I've been hunting around in different places and picking up a few pieces and packs that sort of complement what I already had. Plus I've got a few projects in mind for the future, so I didn't have the fabrics that would be needed for that. So I was sort of just starting to build the stash for a few projects. Now I'll take you through them, and some of them are Etsy stores and one of them is an actual shop in Queensland that I've only been to twice now, and it'd have to be up there as one of my favorites. So first of all, let's have a talk about these Japanese fabrics, indigo scraps and Japanese fabrics. Now I found this business on Etsy, Bitten by the Bug. Now they are selling all sorts of things from Japanese fabrics and indigo, but there's also some other things there like threads and cottons and all sorts of stuff. Definitely worth a bit of a visit. So that's the little shop, Bitten by the Bug, and she does packs, so it's really good way of starting a bit of a collection of things. So as I mentioned, indigo dyeing, it's something I've been admiring for a little while from a distance, and it's quite amazing how they do this. They pretty much dye the fabrics, and then when the fabrics come out into the air, they change colors to this beautiful indigo. And it's a real procedure, and I don't think the dye is real good for you if you get it on your hands, because everyone seems to, you know, protect themselves from head to toe with it. If you want to see a video on how they do it, there's a really good one with Kate on The Last Homely House. She posted it about 2 months ago. I'll get the video and link it in the description below, so you can go and have a bit of a look of what they do. And they sort of tie fabrics together with strings and sticks and rocks and all sorts, and then dip it into the solution. And then when they unravel it all and they put it out to the air to dry, this beautiful indigo color comes of it. So I know recently Sarah from Roxy Creations was showing some of her pieces that she's collected over the years, and she's used them in the latest stitchery. So I thought it was time to have a little look myself. I've admired pillows that have been stitched, pillowcases stitched in artisan shows. So I've always wanted to sort of get my hands on some of this fabric to have a little bit of a play with. So one day soon. And this was a little pack that I purchased where you get 50 scraps of indigo dyed fabric. Okay, so that was the first little pack. I then grabbed a neutral pack, which has got a little bit of everything in it. I wouldn't say it's anything real special, but it does give you some different textures and creams. Some of these fabrics sort of look very familiar to modern day things that you'd find probably at Spotlight and Michael's, but then there are little bits and pieces of really nice things in amongst it, some hemps and things like that, but all a really good starting place for some neutrals. So that was another little pack I picked up on their site, so 50 neutrals. And then the third little pack here is authentic blues from Japanese fabrics. So really, really pretty. So these are just a good base. You could just do something with these. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'm going to keep that out. I haven't started my heart yet. Hello, Fudge. Haven't started my heart stitchery for the June. And I've got so many ideas in my head and I'm just going round and round and round. So I'm sort of hoping that by doing this video and flipping through these fabrics, I might see something that sort of gets me a little bit interested in a particular plan of attack. So that's the 50 pieces of Blue's authentic Japanese fabric. So a little bit different again. Now, in addition to that, she had some what she called basics, and I wasn't real sure what they were, so I just got a fat quarter of a few of them, and I thought, well, it's handy to have some bigger pieces. Even if it's a cushion, you've got something to create the back of the cushion cover. So I've got two of her blues, a mid blue and a dark blue. Then she had some of her cream linen that she uses for all of her burrow work, and it just looked a little bit different to what I had, so I grabbed a piece of that, and it's got like this little crosshatch pattern through it. It's very pretty. And then in with it was another piece of fabric as well, which I believe she cuts up to make some of these little packs. So I thought that would be handy as well in case I wanted to do more of a bigger piece. So that's the goodies that I got from an Etsy store. I believe she ships all over the world, and yeah, lovely start to a bit of a collection of products to do with Japanese stitching, burrow stitching, and indigo dyed fabrics. You can hear Fudgy, he's having a bit of a meow meow. So the next shop that I found is I've run out of ticking, and the only ticking I had was antique ticking that I had picked up from a pack from Rachel from Roxy Creations, and I've only got a tiny little bit of it left. So I was starting to wonder where I was going to get some more, and to find antique ticking is just such a challenge. So I went looking on Etsy, and I found this ticking from a lady here in Queensland. I believe she ships everywhere, and it was a grey, the blue, the classic blue, the raspberry red, and then a more of a softer blue. So I end up getting 1/2 metre of each. Now her shop is called Dollarbirddesignsaus, AUS. So I'll just bring my notes over so that you can do a screenshot. So the ticking is from an Etsy store, Dollarbird Designs with an S and then AUS on the end because she's an Australian supplier. Shipped really quickly, lovely lady. And the Japanese fabrics and the indigo scraps was from Bitten by the Bug. And that is the YouTube channel, The Last Homely House, Kate, who shows you how she does indigo dyeing. Now, the last place I went to, which was my biggest haul, was Dewdrop Inn in Hervey Bay. If you've been watching my sewing basket restoration, I had a little holiday in a little seaside town, and the next biggest town was Hervey Bay. So that's where we'd go for our shopping and supplies and anything we needed. So while I was there, I went in, and that was actually my birthday weekend. And I picked up some packs of fabric, which is fantastic. I was there a year ago, and it was right in the peak of holiday season, and there wasn't a lot of packs of fabric available because I would say, going by the amount of campers and caravanners and people in town, and I could hear ladies coming in wanting to join into stitchery classes, and they weren't from the local town, the local city. So my feeling was that they had been really busy, and a lot of their packs had sold. But I was there in end of May, and bit of the off season, so the packs were abundant, which was just like trouble, as you can imagine. So I'll just show you some of the packs I picked up and just talk you through why I picked them up and what I was sort of thinking when I sort of build my stash. And there was a couple new designs out that I hadn't yet got out to grab, and I managed to pick them up as well. So the first pile here are just some random packs that they'd put together that were fat quarters, and they were like $9.95 for up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours. So really good value. So the girls have either gone around the store and picked complimentary packs of fabric, or they are actually from a series. Now this one, for example, I would have to say is from a series, which is fantastic because the hard work is done for you. It's been put together, ready to go. So a lovely little pink combination. So I'll just pop that to one side. Like, it's just so pretty. This one here is another little pack. I'm not sure if this is a series. It sort of looks like it. Could be, but that one there is throwing me out a little bit. I don't think that's part of anything. If I was going to guess, those three are a series and those two aren't, but it didn't matter. Same scenario, it was just a little $10 pack of fabric, so good value. This is the next one. So it's got some little berries in two colours and then two fabrics to match, three fabrics to match, which look like that's the random, and that to me matches, which is really good. And even if these fabrics sort of don't match, you can always head off to a store when you're doing a project and put together your own pack, because you sort of know then what you need. Now I've been through most of these fabrics in this pile and there's no names on them whatsoever. So don't bother asking me what they're called. When I know, I'll tell you because it's been chopped off. But if anyone does recognize something and did want to comment, please go ahead, because you never know. Someone may spot something and go, yes, yes, I know what that is. This one's an unusual one. It's got a bit of a texture to the fabric. Really pretty. So it makes a bit of a change from just patchwork fabric. So these will be lovely to use. Real shabby chic. I love that green. Really, really pretty. But there's a texture to the fabric. And if you can see, it's like got an embossed, get it out of the, see how it's embossed around that leaf there? So really pretty. Feels like something you'd see back in the day. This little pack, it's a bit of an unusual one. I do have a lot of these tones from years of quilting, and I sort of was into these darker farm tones, I would say you'd call them. Just sort of autumnal colours. I was doing a lot of quilts that sort of had that country feel about them. So, but when I saw it, I just really liked it, and it seemed to remind me of Japanese fabrics. So I thought I'll grab it, because if I do something with the Japanese fabrics, I've got some options to bring in some tones that sort of complement that dark indigo blue sorts of colours. So that was the theory behind that little pack, if you're wondering why it's a bit randomly different. All of these were still at $9 to $12 price point. This was a lovely little pack. It was real impulse. I picked it up. I should have put it down, but I didn't, and I grabbed it, and what the hang. It was my birthday. Peter Rabbit. So the different characters are featured on these fabrics. So I thought I'd often do Peter Rabbit journals. I really want to make one with you guys on a video. So I thought if I had some little fabrics, I might be able to do something slow stitching in a journal with Peter Rabbit. Thought it might be a bit fun. So they were the little packs. Then there were two designer packs that I spotted that I got rather excited about, and I hadn't yet been out and about. This one may have been around a little while, because I haven't been to a fabric store for a little time. So this one may be a lot older than I think, but I don't know. It's the Riley Blake Designs. Now, I can't remember the name of it. It was just on a sign. Let me just have a little thumb through the fabric, because we might be in luck and find it printed on the selvage, like they often do. But it's so pretty. There's mustards and then a blue pack. So it's actually two packs. Now, it cost a pretty penny, like these newer big American designers do. They tend to put some good coin on their fabrics. They're beautiful quality fabrics, don't get me wrong, but they do cost a bit to collect. Here we go. Buttercup Blooms. There we go. That's the series, Buttercup Blooms. Okay, so the 2 packs, one was very green and mustard, like you can see. Beautiful. And then a couple of these are repeated in the next pack as well, and instead of the green, it is more blues. Just beautiful. See, that's a repeat. So is that, so is that, and then we're away back to the blues. Just beautiful. And it's still all called Buttercup Blooms. So it was obviously a pretty big series that drifted between quite a few colours. So I was really, really pleased. And it was funny because I'd got through my purchase and I was heading out the door, and I'd forgotten that right at the front door was the display of all of these fabrics from this design collection. And there was these 2 packs there, and I was like, oh, and I grabbed them. So very impulsive, but look at that. Isn't that just the prettiest colour palette? A lot of fun. And then probably the one that got me most excited was the William Morris series that is recently released. So, so pretty. I'll just flip them down so you can see. Oh, I'm a real fan of the William Morris range. I did see the book that is out in a shop, and I just thought, oh, it's getting too flippant, because it really is no benefit other than just eye candy and flipping through it to have a look at all of his designs and a little bit of the story of William Morris and how he came to be influential in design back in the day. So, but I didn't buy it. I thought, no, I really don't need it. But boy, if I ever saw that somewhere again, I think I probably would still buy it. So this is like a beautiful series. Not real complementary colours, like it's a bit all over the place, but it sort of works anyway because you're within the category of the designer. So it sort of still works. I have some papers that are all William Morris too, and I'd love to do a journal with his papers. Really, really beautiful. As you can see, we're drifting through quite a colour palette here with all these fabrics. Very talented. I think too, I don't know if I've got my story right, but I think his wife was the model for the Statue of Liberty. Is that correct? I'm sure I read some unusual fact about William Morris. He was sort of right in amongst all of the big movers and shakers of the time. And they, or the artisans that were being hired by the royal family to do all this work. And I have a feeling, I don't know, I might have my story completely wrong too. I probably should have done a little bit more research before I turned on the camera. But anyway, he is really talented and I love, love his fabrics. And you can now buy them. So beautiful. And then the last pack of fabric was Christmas. Lovely, lovely lady. I don't think she was the owner. I've seen her and another lady there regularly. But I don't think the lady that served me was the actual owner. I think the other one was. So I asked them if they had any Christmas fabrics. And of course she rolled her eyes nicely, of course not nasty, and said, oh, Christmas, I just packed it away to make some room. I didn't think anyone would want it. And I sort of said to her, well, maybe it's possible there will be a few chasing a bit of Christmas because we're all starting a Christmas stitchery with a YouTube channel, Roxy Creations and the sister Sarah. So people might be looking for little bits and pieces of Christmas. So I don't know if she'll unpack her boxes, but she kindly crawled under a table, pulled out 2 boxes and let me go through. And I picked up some general Christmas fabrics. No rhyme or reason. I don't have a lot of Christmas fabrics because I'm sort of pretty busy myself around Christmas. So I don't know if you know yet, but I'm in the industry of Christmas myself. So when it comes to my craft, I don't do a lot of Christmas because I'm busy within the industry of Christmas. I've got a video coming up on the 1st of July that will sort of show you my world, my day job. So I thought I'd better grab a few fabrics because I really don't have a lot. And what I do have are just from Spotlight, so they're a bit poor quality fabrics, so it makes them a bit hard to stitch. They're okay, but they're not as nice as some of these fabrics that you pick up at patchwork shops. So a couple little packs I picked up. I went for some brights, and I believe that was with it. So that's got potential. And then I did this pack, which has got more, I don't know, insipid tones. It's just not as bright, but there's words, there's Christmas trees, there's baubles, there's some stripes, a little bit of black. So that has potential for some stitching. Then this little pack, I wanted something that was a little bit more classic. So there's a couple silvers here. There's some gold and then some more blacks with stripe and then another piece of black, a couple pieces of black with the holly and the flowers. So something different again with those ones. And then this one just reminded me of candy cane, so I grabbed this pack as well. So just trying to, you know, give myself some options. Don't know where it's heading. Not a lover of these 2, but who knows what will come of it. I might do some little houses in a row. I don't know. We'll see what the prompts are from the girls and where it sort of leads us. Some little snowflake images and then the spots. So a little bit of Christmas just to backfill my stash. Happy birthday, me. And as you can see, I had a bit of fun buying some Christmas. I think that's it. The only other thing I wanted to show you is while I was up there, I went into Spotlight and they had quite a good range of needles. Down here in Brisbane, everything's just sold out. If you need a nice needle, you just can't get them. And I haven't seen these quilting needles for ages, if not probably 2 years. And I love them because they're nice and long, so they're easy to use when you're doing lots of running stitch. And they've got a small needle eye, but it's not too small, so you can easily thread most threads. And you can go straight to beading if you want, because the needle has a really long eye, so it shimmies through a seed bead really well. So I'm a bit of a fan of these, and I often bend them because they are quite fine, but they're just really good. Let me measure this needle so you'll get an idea of its size, because it is really, really good. 2 1/4 inches, and they call them quilt basting needles, size 7, and there were 6 in the pack. So if you can get your hands on some of these, you will find that you thread it once and away you go. You'll be able to drift through your whole sewing very easily, and then even pick up beads where usually you have 3 or 4 needles on the go. And this one, I think, is the best of the best. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I've rambled on enough and you've had a little look at my shopping, and I will see you all in the next video. Happy stitching. Bye.